everyone, welcome to Thursday. I'm going to lead you through a class. I'm going to do some balance work and my usual hip work and breathing and just lead you through. The rules are always the same. Try, do what you can. If there's anything that doesn't quite resonate with you, skip it. I like to give options as I go along. Another thing is, obviously you know how to find me if you're here. Please feel free to message me and tell me, can you explain this? Can you do a little bit more of that? So I'm completely open to suggestions to try to accommodate as best I can. But yeah, it's in the absence of, having face-to-face contact, let's use the messaging system so I can, you can give me feedback as to whether what I'm doing hits the mark. So we're gonna start lying down. So you're gonna lie down. Your legs bent today. And then just do kind of a little fidgeting, or what I call setting yourself in to a place that's comfortable. One thing I always like to do is lift my hips just a little bit, an inch or two, and just feel like your hips are suspended in air. And then without changing the shape of your spine, just let your sacrum, that triangular bone at the base of the spine, come to the floor. So this more or less is going to put you into a neutral pelvis position. And then from here, we're just going to do a little bit of breathing. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. And when you breathe in, try to feel the rib cage expand around the front, the sides, and more importantly, the back. And then just spend a moment or two here, just bringing your body and your mind into one place. And then if you wish, you can count to yourself on the inhale. And then on the exhale, making the count the same. So perhaps starting with a count of 4, 5. There's no straining of the breath. Don't feel like you're forcing anything. It should be very natural. And then try a couple where you hold the exhale a little bit longer. So you take that inhale in, feel that rib cage expand, and then pause ever so slightly. Pause, and then let the exhale flow nice and slow. Control the exhale. Maybe get into a count of 5, maybe do a count of 6. And then starting the inhale again. Feeling the rib cage expand in all diameters and all the way around. And then the challenge is going to be, we're going to try to hold this style of breathing as we start to add a little bit of core stability work into it. So before we do that, hip bones or pubic bone are going to be your landmark. Let's start with the pubic bone today. Let that pubic bone slide up towards your chest, and then slide that pubic bone through your legs. And then keep doing that. Just starting with some pelvic tilts, massaging your lower back, warming up the hip joints. So observing, having the floor as feedback. When the pubic bone is moving towards your body, the lower back flattens, and when the pubic bone moves through your thighs, the lower back arches. It's just the lower back, the lumbar spine moving. If you don't do these like daily, I highly recommend that you do. It's just really soothing for your hips, for your lower back. And then you're going to pause somewhere in the middle. You're going to find a little bit of tension here, the space between the hip bones, lower ribs. When I say tension, I don't mean suck it in and make it really hard. I just mean as much as you need to, like gears on a car. You only use the gear that you need. So you're going to hold that in. And your goal is only to keep your lower back curved in this position and lift one leg to 90 degrees, flex the foot, and then other leg. If your back arched too much when you did that, bring it back down. Options here, one leg at a time, or reset, and let your mind control the work. So engage in this middle section as much as you need to so the back is not moving, and then lift one leg. You're gonna have to contract a little bit more and lift the other leg. Have a sense of your lower back staying in that same position, And also have a sense of your sitting bones moving forward, holding that here. Then you take your fingertips to the ceiling, take a big inhale. And as you exhale, lower the right heel to the floor, tap it, and then bring it back up. Lower that other heel, tap, and bring it back up. 2 more. Lower, and lift. Slow. Exhale down, and inhale up. Exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up. Pause. If you need to bring your feet to the ground for a little reset or a little rest, please do. And only for a moment, then you're going to come right back up. Then we're going to go arm and leg in opposite directions. So extend that right leg, make it straight, lower it towards the floor. As the other arm reaches over the head, the other leg doesn't move. And then bring it back. Other leg extends, opposite arm reaches without moving your spine. And then bring it back, and then other side. You're going to do about 5 of these on each side. Depending on where you're practicing at home, I'm kind of getting them myself because we have, you know, things in the way. I have my blocks in the way, I have my kitchen counter in the way, but that's okay. Just work around it or change the way your position. See, I spoke and now I've lost my train of thought. Holding it here. So this is as much a brain exercise as it is a body exercise. You can see now because I'm talking and I really can't do 2 things at once, I've lost it. So you keep going, you keep concentrating. And then wherever you are, you're gonna make that your last one, and then bring your feet to the floor. Reset. Take 2 deep breaths. Feel that whole perimeter of the rib cage expand. And then we're gonna bring the feet together in what us yogis know as a pose called Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Squeeze the feet together and create tension at the outer hips. Squeeze those outer hips in. And from the inner knees to the inner groins, you're gonna lengthen out. So the knees are pressing forward. You're gonna hold it here. Back hasn't moved. My back is still in neutral. And place my hands on the floor for a little bit of extra support. Push my feet into the floor and also towards me and lift my hips and lower them down. When I lift my hips, I'm not tucking anything. I'm lifting the hips straight up. Spine stays in that same neutral position. And then I'm slowly lowering down. Lower back stays off the floor. Press the feet, pull the feet towards you, lift, and then lower. Keep going, lift. You should feel the hamstrings, you should feel the glutes. Start to warm up, lower, lift, lower. Here we go, we're gonna hold, lift, pull the feet towards you. Feel those hamstrings, the knees, the feet are pulling towards you. From inner groins up to inner knees, you're pressing forward. Hold, keep pressing down. Can you lift a little bit higher? Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. Press the feet, lift a little bit higher. Don't arch your back. A little higher, hold. At your highest point, we're gonna hold for 1, 2, maybe you can go a little higher, 3, 4, and 5. Slowly lower it down. Bring your knees together, hug your thighs to your chest, and rock from side to side. You can make circles, you can make figure 8s, in both directions, of course. And then you're going to roll to one side. So I always like to start my practice, not always, I shouldn't say always, but often, little thoracic spine. So thoracic spine is where the ribs attach. So think about your rib cage. Upper thoracic, closer to the shoulder blades. So you're gonna come into Sphinx pose. You're gonna have your 4 arms on the floor, inner wrists heavy, pull the forearms towards you, and squeeze your shoulder blades. Then you'll lift your hips 1 inch or 2, come into that little posterior tilt. So your sitting bones are sliding to your heels, press the front hip creases into the floor, and slide your breastbone forward, holding it here. Just try to see, feel, hear the back of your neck. There's your tendency to throw your head back so the back of the neck is crunching. Instead, tuck your chin a little bit and then move the breastbone forward and up a little bit more. Feeling a lot of work happening in the upper back, waking up those mid-back muscles that we love so much. And then you're gonna pause. You're gonna have your forehead on the floor. You're gonna come into that posterior tilt. So flush the glutes, moving to your heels. Point the toes back, tops of the feet are heavy on the floor, and contract your thighs so that your knees come off the floor. Let me do this from the side. So tops of the feet heavy. Contract your thighs so the knees are off the floor. I think you can see me here, holding it here. Hold that, then lift the right leg, not too much. You don't have a knee joint anymore. You only have one long bone from the hip to the toes. Lift that whole leg up. Feel the hamstrings, feel the glutes, and then lower it down. Other side. Press the hip crease into the floor. Point the toes, contract the thighs so the knees are already off the floor, and then lift. And then lower. And then keep going, lift and lower. Lift, can you hold? Contracting. You're gonna contract that whole posterior chain, glutes, hamstrings, everything is contracting, pointing the toes back, keeping that long line of tension, that back leg, lower it down. Other side, point the toes, hip crease pressing into the floor, lift that leg up, make it straight. Don't go for height, go for straight as you can make it. Yes, you can lift it higher, but not by bending at the knee. Remember, you don't have a knee joint anymore. Hold, hold, and then release it down. Come back to Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath your shoulders. Squeeze your shoulder blades, pull the chest forward. Tuck the chin a little bit, make like you're trying to make a double chin. Pull the elbows towards you, slide the chest forward, holding it here. And then you're going to press into your knees, lift your hips, round your back. Tuck the chin all the way, round your back. And then go the other way, let your hips drop. Slide your breastbone first, you pull the arms towards you, slide the ribs forward. Then we'll go the other way. Lift, lift, round your back, and then other way. And then again, press your elbows towards you, round your back, up you go. Chin tucks. And then you're gonna lower it down, pausing here, lowering your head to the floor. Take the hands by the lower ribs. Roll those shoulders back as much as you can. So those upper arm bones, don't mind me as I flop around on my mat, trying to find a place where you can see me. Hands are by your lower ribs, roll those shoulders back. Same action here, the breastbone coming forward, shoulder blades draw together, feel the middle upper back. Now can you find that same strength in your legs, tops of the feet, push them down. Make those legs just as straight and strong as they were a moment ago, don't let them go. And then pull your chest through to upward dog. And then knees drop, lift, pull it all back to downward facing dog. So maybe your first downward dog of the day, maybe not, whatever it is, just be here. Letting your head hang heavy, bending your legs, tilting your sitting bones to the ceiling, and then trying to work to straight legs. Don't think about the heels moving to the floor, think about the heels moving back. So you're gonna lengthen tops of your feet, the bottoms of your feet. And then we'll come forward, almost to a crouch, start to bend your legs. Lower your knees. Broaden the shoulder blades across your upper back. Lower your knees another inch. Pause. Lower your knees another inch. Pause. Another inch. Another inch. And then lower them down all the way. You're gonna sit back onto your shins, or can be kneeling, or you can sit if you have props around, you can put a pillow, whatever you need to make yourself comfortable in this pose. It's just sitting on your shins. So from here, sorry, gotta fiddle with my hair. I'm gonna do a little bit of shoulder blade work. Extend your arms out in front of you and reach your fingertips to the ceiling. So wrists are extended, reach them forward. Then we're gonna squeeze the fingers together, reach the thumbs forward as far as you can, then bring the thumbs towards you and spread the fingers, and then push. This time when you push, let the shoulder blades wrap away from the spine into what we call protraction, and let your arms go further. And then without bending at your elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then move the shoulder blades apart. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Imagine they're going to touch in the middle. And then spread them apart. Palms pressing forward. Squeeze. and spread. Squeeze and spread. Squeeze. You're gonna hold that squeeze tight as you can. Imagine that they're gonna touch and then spread them apart. Literally feel that shoulder blade widen across your back, almost like it's gonna wrap underneath your armpits. And then lower the arms. Pausing here. Do a little bit of wrist prep. Set your hands about shoulder distance apart or even wider, whatever feels comfortable for you. Press the palms into the floor and then lift the palms and very slowly lower the palms. Just gonna do 5 of these. So lift, and when you lower, slow motion, bring those palms to the floor nice and slow. And then 3 more. Lift, maybe a little bit higher, and then lower down. 2 more. Lift, arms stay straight. My right arm always wants to bend. I have to give lots of attention to keep it straight. And then lower. Then you're gonna turn your palms so your fingers are facing out, wrists facing one another. And then do the same thing. Lift and lower. Lift. Try to get those thumbs up if you can. And lower. Lift and lower. 3 more. Lift. How slow can you descend? Call it painfully slow. And then again, lift. I've lost count. I think we're at 3. If we do an extra one, it won't be a bad thing. Nice and slow. And then lift. And nice and slow. Bring it back. And shake it out. Extend your arms straight out in front of you. Shoulder joints right here. Top of the arm, that bulky part right there is a deltoid. You're gonna roll the deltoids towards the floor. Palms are gonna face the back, whatever's behind you. And then moving from that deltoid, roll back so the palms face the ceiling. And then rotate the deltoid to the floor. Arms will go back, but only because you're moving at the shoulder joint. And then go the other way. And then go again. Roll them down. Roll them up. Roll them down. And up. 2 more. This time, you can either make a fist or just make your arms that much firmer. Create as much tension in those arms as you possibly can. Draw those front ribs in, same as when you were lying on the floor. Hold that. And then we're going to internally rotate. Let that deltoid roll to the floor. And then open it up. Open it up. And then roll it down. Can you go a little bit further? Can you get another millimeter on each side? And then open it up. Pause. And then go a little bit more. Raise your arms up. And then hands to the floor. Step back to downward dog. This downward dog, can we move the shoulder blades? Can you feel the shoulder blades squeeze together and move apart? Squeeze them together, move them apart. Squeeze them together, move apart, holding them somewhere on your body that feels right. The only thing I don't want is those shoulders lifting to the ears. But just play with them, move them. So gaining mobility of the shoulder blades of the scapula is just so key. For me, it's only been in the last 3 years that this has become important to me. Not typically part of the yoga curriculum, but it should be. Controlling the shoulder blades is key in finding upper body stability, upper body strength, which we need. We need in yoga, we need in life. Then you come onto your toes. Lift your hips as high as you can. Walk your hands to your feet. Lower your feet. Pause here. Just hang here in a forward bend. Legs can be bent or straight, your choice. Take the hand to the opposite elbow point and just hang. Let the upper body roll to one side and then to the other. And then back to center. Bend your legs. Slowly come up. You're going to come up halfway until your hands are going to rest on your knees. Then we're going to do our pelvic tilts again. Sitting bones drop and sitting bones lift. Sitting bones drop, sitting bones lift. Then the next time the sitting bones drop, you're going to hold them. And your goal here is to try to drop those sitting bones a little bit more and let your lower back puff out, make it full. Try not to move your thoracic. And then go the other way. Sitting bones lift, lower back sinks to the floor. And then sitting bones drop. Can you lift and round only your lower back? And then go the other way. And then one more time. Pressing your hand into the knees. Drop those sitting bones. Try to round your lower back. Only your lower back. And then pause in neutral. Now we're going to try to keep the hips still and just move the upper back. So we're going to start by rounding your upper back. Tuck the chin. And then go the other way. Slide your breastbone forward, chin forward. Do not throw your head back. And then again, lift and round your upper back. And slide that breastbone forward. Just isolating thoracic movement from lumbar movement. Round. And then other way. Round. Ooh, I'm getting my lower back into it. I'm losing control. And then slowly come up. Pausing here. Let's have your feet a few inches apart. I'm gonna cut off your screen for a moment, but I'll be right back. Inhale, extend your arms straight up. Exhale, you're gonna hinge forward, fold. Walk your hands forward and come back to tabletop. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. If you have a block, either a block or a book, either is fine. Anything that you can put on your sacrum. If you don't have anything beside you, use your imagination. Pretend you do. So, shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Front ribs in, and you're gonna hold it here. Spread those shoulder blades across your upper back. Especially the left one. Press that hand down, let your right hand come off the floor. Again, you wanna feel that shoulder blades wrapping around to your armpit. The other arm is gonna extend back, holding it here. Then you're gonna let that right arm lift to the ceiling and let that right shoulder come into internal rotation. Then moving into external rotation. Sorry, you can't see me here. You move to external rotation and try to keep that arm high. Then again, internally rotate, the arm will go higher. Externally rotate and see where that might have to come a little bit lower. One more time, internally rotate, take that palm to the ceiling. Externally rotate, adjust the arm as needed, and then bring that arm forward. Hold that arm straight, extend the other leg back, hold. The leg is straight, maybe it lifts, and we'll hold for 1, 2, press that left hand into the floor, 3, 4, and 5. Bring it all back down. Let's try the other side. So reset. Hopefully your block is still somewhere near your sacrum, holding it there. And then you're gonna press that right hand, press it down. Let that shoulder blade wrap around. Feel the muscles around the armpit, welcoming that shoulder blade to move there. And then the other arm's gonna go out, internally rotate, take the arm back and give the palm to the ceiling as high as you can. Then externally rotate and adjust. And then internally rotate. And then externally rotate, taking that arm as high as you can, holding external rotation. Then internally rotate, the arm will go like a little higher. Externally rotate and adjust. Internally rotate, hold that external and bring that arm forward. Opposite leg, toes to the floor, make that leg as straight as you can, and then lift it up. Try not to lose your block. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lower it down. Remove your block on purpose. Downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Pump the heels. So from this downward dog, you're going to try to find this spinal position. You're going to try to find this spinal position. You're going to come into downward dog. Hold that spinal position. Bend your elbows. Sorry, your knees. Holding it here. Bend your knees a little bit more. Spread those shoulder blades across your upper back. Lower your knees a little bit more. Hold. Lower your knees a little bit more. A little bit more. Don't hold your breath. Breathe. A little bit more. You're gonna work your way to a hover position and then lift, go back. We're gonna do that 3 times. Ready? Set your hands. Lift your hips. Try not to change the shape of your spine. Come forward. So your shoulders are pretty much coming over your wrists. Bend your knees a little bit. A little bit more. A little bit more. Upper body strong. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Try to hold the hover. If your knees have to come to the ground for a break, please do. And then we're going to go back again. Ready? 1 more. Ready? Set your hands. Spread those shoulder blades. Lift your hips. Come onto the toes. And then start to shift your weight forward and bend. Hold. Bend. Hold. Bend. Hold. Shoulder blades spread across your back. Bend. Hold. That lowest hover point you can find. Pull the hands and feet towards each other. You're going to hold for 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Lift it all back up. Walk your hands to your feet. And just be here in a forward fold. Let's do something I haven't done in a long time. It's an old Ashtanga pose. Take the palms of your hands under the feet. And then bend your legs. Just use this as a little counter pose for your wrists. So you're going to rock your weight forward and back. You're trying here to get the toes right into those inner wrists. Push down. Push your toes down. I always like it when we can find ways to use our body parts as props. And here you are using your feet to give your wrist a little counter massage. And then release the hands and roll up. Come to standing. I'm moving back so you can see me. Let's do a little balance pose here. So set yourself up, shoulders over the hips, nice long spine. We'll start with a few calf raises. So spread your toes, lift up and lower down. Lift up, trying to get to the very tops of the toes, and then lower down. Lifting straight up and lowering down. So you might be a little bit wobbly, that's okay. 2 more. Lift as high as you can, and then lower down. 1 more time, lift as high as you can, and lower down. This time, you're gonna pause, both feet on the ground. Have your feet pretty close together. Think about these outer hips being your support. Suck them in. Shifting your weight onto one foot, lift the other foot up. Just lift the other foot up. Doesn't have to be high. Try not to move your torso. You're gonna start by looking straight ahead without shifting your head, just your gaze to the right. Gaze to the left. Ooh. Gaze to center. Gaze to the ceiling. Gaze to the floor. Gaze straight ahead. Close your eyes. Nice. Release. Other side. Both feet heavy. Long spine. Shift your weight into the other foot, other leg, and just lift the other leg off the ground. Doesn't have to lift by much. And then again, start with your gaze straight ahead. Then gaze looks up. Gaze looks down. Gaze in one direction. Other direction. Straight ahead. And close your eyes. You're going to feel your ankle wobble, which is good. Strengthening for the ankles. Use your arms as counterbalance. And then open your eyes. Nicely done. Feet about hip distance apart. Inhale, extend your arms straight up. Exhale, folding forward. Come to a forward fold all the way down. And then to a neutral spine. Roll the arm bones back, breastbone forward, front ribs in. Bend your legs, take the hands to the floor, walk your feet forward. Either to plank or to tabletop. Just add a little bit of load here as we squeeze the shoulder blades together and pull them apart. Shoulder blades squeeze together, pull apart without bending the arms. Then you decide, you want to do that in tabletop? Can you maintain that same movement in plank? Heels back. Make those legs just as straight as we set them up at the beginning of the class. Holding it here. And then we'll lower down. Come back and do a little bit more shoulder work. So you're in tabletop. When we do this, we're trying to keep your chest parallel to the floor, trying not to tilt to one side. So right hand's gonna press down, that shoulder blade's gonna protract, so wrap it around. Other hand's gonna lift and it's going to bend. You're gonna reach that elbow to the ceiling. You can either keep your fingers reaching or you can make a fist. I'm going to make a fist today. So now I wanna get my elbow as high as I can as I externally rotate that shoulder. Lots of tension in that arm. And then I'm gonna reach that arm back, keep that external rotation. I take my palm as high as I can. And then I'm gonna lower it down and bending only at the elbow, and I'm lifting up again. Staying in external rotation in the shoulder. Lift that elbow as high as I can, and then reach it back. Reach it back. And then bend only the elbow, and then hold, external rotation. Hold, draw that left shoulder blade into the body. One more time, lift, lift, lift that arm as high as you can, lots of tension in that arm. Hold, maybe a little bit higher, hold that external rotation, and then lower it down. Lots of tension. And then shake it out. So, if you didn't feel like, wow, that was hard, you got the other side to do. So, it's that tension that we're creating on purpose. It's going to create more strength in all those muscles that support the upper body and the shoulder joint. So, set those hands. Spread the shoulder blades. Front ribs in, spine is in neutral. So now the other hand's going to come up. Make a fist or fingers straight down. And reach that elbow to basically towards your hip bone. Holding it here. And then from here, again, actually rotate that shoulder. And take that arm back. You're just straightening the arm. Take that palm as high as you can, and then bend, bring it back down. Lift the elbow a little bit higher, hold that external rotation. And then again, reach it back. Reach it back. Lots of resistance you're creating for yourself. Reach. And then bring it down. Lift a little higher, hold that external rotation. And then reach it back. Reach it back, maybe a little bit higher, don't lose the shoulder work, and then bend only the elbow to bring it down. Holding it here, hold. I can't remember what we did the other side, let's do another one here. Reach, hold, you should feel a lot of work around that shoulder blade. Your other arm might be shaking like mine is, and then bring it in, and lower it down. Take it back to child's pose. Extend your arms straight out in front of you, onto the fingertips. Forehead towards the floor. I say towards the floor, it doesn't have to touch the floor. Then walk your hands to one side. Try not to move your hips. So whatever side you're moving towards, the opposite side you're going to feel the stretch. Feel that whole side body. And then bring it back forward and take your arms to the other side. Keep that left hip heavy. Or the hip, you know what I mean. Arms go in one direction, and that's the side where you're going to get that nice stretch. And then come back. Bring your forearms to the floor. Walk your feet back. And come to Sphinx. Elbows under the shoulders. Pull the elbows towards you. Roll the inner wrist to the floor. Chest forward, breastbone forward, holding it here. Pubic bone pressing into the floor, hip creases into the floor. So your lower back is lengthening, not shortening. Holding it here. Then you're going to curl the toes under. Draw those front ribs in and lift into plank. Pull the forearms in, crown the head forward, hold. And then with control, lower down and send the breastbone forward and up. Pull the elbows towards you, curl the toes under. Before you lift the middle section, get your legs working, and then lift. Hold. Hold, pull the elbows in. Slowly lower down. Chest forward. One more, ready? Pull the elbows, Curl the toes under, lift, ribs in, tailbone to the heels. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Slowly lower down. Lower yourself down. Take a little pause. Forehead on your hands. So first we're going to come into a little posterior tilt. So again, my pubic bone is sliding forward as my tailbone goes to my heels. Holding it here. Toes back, tops of the feet heavy. Bend one leg, squeeze your heel to the bum. As tight as you can, squeeze it in. When you do that, do not let that hip crease get light. Push it into the floor. That's what the glutes are for, holding it here. Then you're going to take that same hand, reach it back, and touch. If it doesn't touch, that's okay. Your goal is just to pull that heel towards your fingertips. That's all. Pull it in. Feel those hamstrings, feel those glutes working. Hold, pull it in, pull it in. Then grab the foot if you can. Pull it in with your hand. But here's the devilish part. You pulled it in further with your hand. Can you let your hand go and try to not move that leg very much? We're going to hold. Keep squeezing. Squeeze, squeeze. A little bit more, squeeze. And then release. Shake that leg out. Let's do the other side. Ready? Posterior tilt. Tailbone moving to your heels. Press that foot into the ground. Push that hip crease into the floor. That's what your glutes are for. And then lift, pull that heel to your bum. As tight as you can. Pull it in. Then you're going to reach the hand back. It may or may not touch. I have long arms. It touches. Maybe it won't. If it doesn't, that's okay. Your goal is just to, you kind of know it's there. So just trust that you're going to try to have them touch. And then keep going. If they touch easily, move the hand away. Give your heel something to press into. Again, those hamstrings and glutes should be working overtime. And then grab the foot, pull in. But now you know what's coming. You know, let that hand go, but try not to move the leg. Hold, 1, 2, a little bit more, 3, a little bit more, 4, hip crease heavy, and 5, whew, lower it down. Set your hands. You're going to press into your knees. So before you do that, you're going to hold that external rotation, draw those shoulder blades in, lift to the knees, and then back we go to downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Hips back, thighs back. Ooh, sorry, just checking for time. Step the right foot to the right hand. Front leg is bent and back leg is relatively straight, at least for now. I'm going to pause here in a low lunge position. I'm not sure which gives you the best view. Maybe I'll try it from here. I think I need a movie director. Hug that right hip in, holding it here. Ready? Lift your hands from the floor. Lift your hands. Now reach your arms back. Front ribs are resting on the thigh, but they're pulling in. Then reach those arms as high as you can. Externally rotate. And bend both arms at the elbows. This time you're going to take the hands towards your lower back. And then out. Sweep them forward. Take them out. Internally rotate to start. Bring them back. And then externally rotate. Bring the elbows as high as you can. And then reach them forward. One more. Reach them back. Internally rotate. Then externally rotate. Bend at the elbows. And then bring the left hand to the floor. Fingertips block, whatever you need. Then we're going to twist to the right. Twist towards your front leg. Reach that arm up. We'll hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bring that hand back. Step back. Come to downward facing dog. So I spin myself around here. Hips back, thighs back. And then we'll do the other side. So step the opposite leg forward. Pause here in a low lunge position. So front leg, square as you can make it. Back leg straight to start. Draw the front ribs in. And then extend your arms straight back. Let's start with an internal rotation and the arms will go higher. And then sweep those arms forward. My counter's in my way. Then reach the arms out, take them back. You're gonna start with an internal, then external, bring the hands towards your lower back. Take them out, reach them forward. 2 more, take them out, internal to get the arm back there, but then external to bring the hands to your back. 1 more, reach them out, start with that internal, and then find the external to bring the hands towards your lower back. Lift the elbows as high as you can, and then reach the arms, right hand or fingertips down as you twist towards that front leg, and reach that arm up. We'll hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hands to the floor, step back. Come back to downward dog. Okay. And then come down onto your knees for a moment. So I want to take some of that upper body work that we did into chaturanga, the yoga push-up. So you're going to start in tabletop, protract the shoulder blades, and hold it here. As you protract the shoulder blades, can you at the same time find some external rotation in your shoulders? Then from here, slide your knees back so you're on an angle. Your body's on an angle. Front ribs in. Or you can come to plank. Either is fine. Hold that external rotation. Protract those shoulder blades. Front ribs in, strong legs. Then you're going to lower down just an inch and then go back up. And down again. External rotation. 2 inches. Back up. Knees can drop at any time. Maybe 3 inches, maybe not. Keep going. I want you to do a few of these. I want you to integrate the work of the shoulders, the upper back work we did. So on your way down, think about the shoulder blades squeezing together. Holding the external rotation, and then back up. Can we do 2 more? Maybe. If you're done, you're done. Ready? External. Front ribs in. Lower down, and back up. External rotation. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Lower down, lower down, lower down. Maybe hold, then back up. And now we're done. Downward facing dog. We're done. And then bend your legs. Come down to tabletop. And take one arm in front of you. The other arm's going to go out to the side and then weave it underneath that armpit until you get your shoulder, that shoulder pretty much on the floor. The other arm can either stay forward or you can wrap it around. Whatever you want. Take some deep breaths here. Then bring that arm through. Other side. Bring one arm forward. One arm forward, the other arm up, and then weave it through. Bring the side of the head and that shoulder to the floor. The other arm can stay forward, or I can wrap around. Just giving the shoulders a nice little stretch. Stay breathing. And then we'll release. Work your way back up. So a few choices here. You're going to sit on your shins, or you can sit on blocks. Take your right arm forward, hook the other arm underneath it, and bring either the backs of your hands together or the palms together. Reach the elbows up, and then spread those shoulder blades across your upper back. Round your back, lift those back ribs, and take your elbows to your belly. And then slowly bring your elbows up. Then can you find a little bit of a back bend here? Slide the breastbone forward, looking up. And then find neutral. Release, shake it out. Let's do the other side. Take that left arm forward. Hook the right arm underneath it as high as you can, and then again, the backs of your hands together or the palms, either is fine. Spreading those shoulder blades across your upper back, around your back. Lift those back ribs and bring those elbows into your navel. Chin is tucked. And then slowly bring it up, pause in neutral, and then lift that breastbone to the ceiling. Lift it up, find that little back bend, and then bring it down. Shake it out. You can do a little bit of work for the feet here. So you're gonna curl the toes under. Try to get all the toes, even the baby toe, although it's impossible for mine to, but I pretend that it does. Let me look it around so you can see me better. You're gonna be here with these toes curled under. Hold. Shoulders resting over your hips. So if this is torture for you, you have a few options. One is to let your weight be more forward. Just take a little bit of weight out of the feet. Or another option, if you have a block or books or something to elevate your knees, it's another way. But oftentimes I find students say, oh, I can't do that. It's like, well, you can, we just have to find a way to make it tolerable for you. So this is really great work because we all need footwork, we all need toe work. So this is a great way. So eventually, you'll work your way to be here, but only if you practice it. If you don't practice it, it'll always stay uncomfortable. The only exception is I have had students that tell me that they have steel rods in their toes. In that case, don't do it. Otherwise, if that's not the case for you, then do to some degree. I'm gonna hold it here. Then lean forward, point the toes back, sit back. Ooh. So now it's entirely up to you. Maybe staying here, maybe even some padding, as much as you need, as much height as you need here is fine. Or you're gonna take your hands back behind you, lift one knee, lift the other knee. Or lift both knees, any amount, any amount. And then lower down. Downward dog. See how your feet feel in downward dog now. Pressing your heels back. Try to feel the shoulder blades. Try to move the shoulder blades towards each other, away from each other. Just move them any amount. Head heavy, back of the neck long. And then we're going to come forward onto the knees. Flip yourselves around. Take a block or a book or a big blanket. Make sure if you're on a blanket that it's even. And we're going to come here and back into Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together. I'm not sure which is the best angle here. Let's try this one. So soles of your feet together. My hands are wrapped around my feet. My spine is nice and long. So now I'm going to try to rotate my pelvis, to tuck my pelvis back and then bring it forward. Let's see what range I have here. By the way, there's nothing wrong with sitting on 2 blocks if you need more height. The general rule is if your knees are higher than your waist, elevate your hips until you get those knees to come down a little bit. And from here, you're going to lift your spine nice and tall. Your hip bones are pointing straight up to the ceiling. And then we're going to work a little bit of resistance here. Stay there while I fiddle with my props. I'm going to hold on to my feet and take my forearms into my thighs, push down. And then as I'm pushing my forearms down, I'm pulling my thighs up into my arms. Push up, press down. Push up, press down. And then just gonna hold as much strength as you can muster. Pull those arms down. Pull the knees or the thighs into your arms. Lots of resistance. Can you squeeze a little higher? Can you push a little harder? And then release. Shake it out. Now, take the hands behind you. Maybe if you need a block behind here, so you don't want to disturb your spine. Now we do the same thing, but without your arms. From outer knees to outer hips, you're drawing in. It's not passive. Those outer hips are sucking in. If you have a lot of mobility and your knees are just flopping to the floor, lift your knees from the floor and make them work. Make it work. Feel these outer hips do a lot of work. And then you're going to squeeze from the inner groins. The inner knees are going to reach out and press down. But lots of resistance. You're creating your own resistance. Nice tall spine. Outer feet pressing into the floor. Hold. And then release. Bring your knees together. Come off your block. Cross your ankles. Squeeze your thighs to your chest. Don't arch your back. Don't grip your belly. Let your belly actually be soft and try to feel like you're letting the lower back be a little bit full. So I'm not arching it. I'm letting it be full. I'm letting it take some of the weight of my belly. I'm going to squeeze in. Slowly let my feet come off the floor, but keep them active. I'm trying to pull my ankles apart. Keep squeezing them in. Now reach your arms, holding it here. Keep squeezing in. Do not arch your back. Hold. Hold. Keep squeezing in. Uncross your ankles, but keep squeezing in. Maybe you'll straighten one leg. Hold. Bring it in. Cross. Squeeze. Tight. Uncross. Other leg straightens. Bring it in. Cross. Squeeze. Hug it in. Take a rest. So much fun. Let's do it again. Ready? So start. Do not arch your back. So when you come out of it, check in with your body. What do you feel? If you feel your lower back muscles within, we're trying not to, but we're trying to use that inner core strength to do this work, not the back muscles. So lean back, but stay on your sit bones. Squeeze with your arms. With your arms. Keep your back full, your lower back, and then lift your feet. Keep squeezing. Deep, deep flexion here. Hold. Let your arms go. And then maybe you'll just release your feet. Maybe your leg will lift a little bit. Maybe it'll lift halfway. Maybe it'll straighten all the way. And then bring it back in. Cross and squeeze more. Then uncross. Lift. Lift. You go as far as you can. Your spine doesn't change. Maybe the leg straightens. Maybe it comes in. You squeeze it tighter. Use your arms. And then bring your feet to the floor. From here, extend your arms. Your sitting bones, remember they have wheels. You're gonna roll. Let your lower back be heavy. My lower back does not flex, so you won't see it come to the floor, but yours will. Lower down. Squeeze your thighs to your chest. Rock from side to side. So now we get to the point of the practice where you get to do a little bit of freelance, a little bit of wild card, I call it. Rather than listen to me, what do you want to do? What does your body want to do? I know some of us, some of my regular students, love working on back bends. So if you want to come into any kind of back bend here, you can. You come into bridge, you come into Virabhadrasana, or if you have a block, if you have had enough of working harder today, make it still effective but a little bit more passive by coming up, putting a block under your sacrum, and being here. Getting a little bit of spinal extension, hip extension, but don't make it passive by just letting those knees splay out. Keep some order to your body. Have your toes pointed straight ahead. And keep your breastbone moving to your chin. And just taking whatever time you have here to let your breathing become even. If you're working on Urdhva Dhanurasana, again, you're working your way up. Gonna hold for several breaths, maybe 5. And then you'll lower down, do as many as you have the energy for. Something in yoga about the number 3, but you know, it's not written in stone. You can do 2, you can do 3, you can do 4, you can do 5, do 10, do as many as you really have the energy for or the time for. And then you will bring yourself out of your back bend. You'll do some kind of counter pose to a back bend. You come into happy baby. You can come up into a squat. Squat is a wonderful counter pose for back bending. Plus it's just good for everything. Or come into a more traditional forward bend. Just find something that's going to neutralize the effects of the back bending. And on your own time, you'll make your way to Shavasana. And then last time I did this, I ran out of time because it's 1 hour, that's all you got. So I'm not going to have time to talk you through a Shavasana, but talk yourself or just take a moment just to rest, take several moments to rest. Of course, if you have the energy and you want to keep going and do other things, by all means do so. You're nice and warm for anything else you want to practice. If you want to do some inversions, do handstand, headstand, whatever it is that's in your regular practice, please do. I'm just going to take this moment to thank all of you. I've had so many amazing comments and emails from some people that I know and those that I don't. So that's one great thing about this vehicle. It brings the world into my own living space. But I really do thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I hope that wherever you are, one day we get to meet each other. Anyway, stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you.